In 2015, Bill Salia became principal. Bill had gravitas in the diocese, and after the uncertain years, he steadied the ship. He valued the Youthworks College culture and history, but wanted to bring it into the heart of the diocese. In 2017, Youthworks College moved to Newtown next to Moore College. It developed a different culture of coffee and handball.
There was a sense that you couldn't push Youthworks College around anymore, you know. It wasn't this bunch of people that weren't really qualified for the role. Like Bill Salia, he was the real deal. And so he gave such significance to what the college was doing because of his own gravitas. But here's another guy who just really committed himself to the core business of theologically robust ministry to children and young people. And again, you know, Bill's contribution is extraordinary, and we continue to reap the benefits of his investment.
I was appointed in 2015. I remember with great fondness that first cohort that I taught, outstanding people. One of the clear things I remember was if I lectured on Tuesday morning after the students had stayed overnight on Monday, often students would bring a bowl of cereal into the lecture to eat while I was teaching. Now, this never happened at Moore College. And so it was a bit of a surprise. And it just kind of indicates, I guess what I would say is a more relaxed vibe that was down there at Loftus. We decided over those early years, though, that it would be strategic to move the college into Newtown. Now, the reason for this was, I think, when I think about Loftus, in the early years, it was a real metaphor for me for youth and children's ministry in the diocese. That is, it's on the edge and almost invisible. And so the idea of moving to Moore College, it kind of gave the sense that we were bringing youth and children's ministry into the very heart of the diocese rather than leaving it on the periphery, and we were bringing it to visibility rather than rendering it invisible in a gully on the edge of Sydney. Our students would get access to the Moore College library as part of the deal that was there, and so there were a number of positives. We've slowly but surely been creating a ring of enrolments around Sydney from the north, the northwest, the northern beaches, the northern suburbs, as well as our traditional base in the Sutherland Shire and the southwest of Sydney. Even got people from the eastern suburbs, can you believe it?
I think Youthworks College has made an extraordinary impact on ministry with children and young people here in Sydney and around the world. In some ways, Youthworks College has been that single-minded voice for children's and youth ministry in the diocese. As you look around the diocese, so many of our children's and youth ministers have been trained through Youthworks College or have been impacted positively by those who've gone to Youthworks College.
This year, Mike Dicker, a Youthworks graduate, has become the latest principal of Youthworks College. His hope for the future is that college will continue to play a unique role in its advocacy for ministry to children, youth and families.
Appointing Mike Dicker as principal is like genius, and I'm just thrilled. So what a wonderful thing that a former student who came, you know, as a sprinkler fitter, I think one of those people who learnt his capability as a result, and boy, he's capable.
I think the way that Youthworks College ends up really shaping its students has to do with the way it brings theology and practice together. Youthworks College is really big on integrating those two things so that what you're learning in the classroom is landed in the practice of children's and youth ministry. And also you get to consult and talk about and rationalise and theologise what you're doing in your parish week after week. This is what I think actually makes college different from all the other training institutions around about it. This is really what makes it so important and really unique in the world.
Their focus on making sure that every church has an effective kids and youth ministry has been such a blessing. I've benefited from it. I trust you have as well, and I'm sure that's true of many churches across Sydney and beyond.
The future for Youthworks College, as I see it, is really just doing our core business, and that is raising up children's and youth ministers educating them in what it looks like to do effective children's and youth ministry, helping them do theology and practice and bring those two things together constantly in conversation so they can do effective children's and youth ministry. And then beyond that, I think Youthworks College has a unique place in the world to think about the research in the field of youth and children's ministry. Another thing in store for the future of Youthworks College is the way that we are able to equip and partner with people in remote and regional areas through Youthworks College Online. And I would love to see little study hubs all around Australia and maybe even overseas of students who are able to stay local and serve in their local church and yet learn remotely through Youthworks College Online.
Think about the strategic plan that we developed in the first year I was there. And one of the things we did in that plan was we said, what would we like people to say about us in 5 or 7 years' time? And from memory, the first sentence of that was, we'd like people to say that they are really grateful for the presence of Youthworks College because it reminds them of the significance of youth and children's ministry. I hope that will continue to be said about Youthworks College, and I have no doubt under the new leadership that is exactly what's going to happen. I would really hope that parishes in Sydney would really start to grasp the vision, as a few have, of the importance of having Youthworks trainees as part of their training mix. The idea of sending a person to Youthworks College for the first 2 years of maybe a formal ministry apprenticeship scheme or an informal one, where they get to do 2 days a week theological training and they're working 3 or 4 days in the church, just seems an ideal mix for a church to be taking on. You're developing leadership as you are benefiting also from its exercise as it's growing.
One of the things I've discovered about training institutions and theological education is that colleges don't actually send people into the harvest. Yes, we train and we equip people, but actually it's the local church. That's where people are found, and it's the local church that sends people out into the harvest. It's partnership with Youthworks College and other institutions that helps train them so that they might know how to handle the Bible well and know how to bring their theology and practice together. But it's the local church that raises people up and sends them in partnership with colleges and training institutions to go out into all the world. And so the big question I guess we all have to kind of ask ourselves is, who are we raising up? Who are the next people to go into the harvest field, to partner with Youthworks College, to be the next children's and youth minister in your local parish, or to go overseas, or to go abroad, or to go into the regions? Who are you raising up?
Since the year 2000, Youthworks College has trained over 350 students face-to-face and many more online. They have deepened their understanding of God and His grace and developed bonds of love and fellowship. One aspect of the college's success has been something which doesn't appear on a list of subjects or in the prospectus. The ethos of the place, nurtured by the staff, enhanced by its surroundings, the college has assumed its own culture and distinctiveness, which is informal and relationship-based. They say, from little things, big things grow. Youthworks College is now 21, all grown up. Through all the ups and downs, God has been at work through this college, and we pray that it will continue to do so for the next 21 years.